Morning Thailand supported by Wings Learning Circle, customized English course for your business.
And welcome back to the last break of Morning Thailand with Pai Gov and Kun Chen สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ สวัสดีครับ
Merry Christmas คุณ Chen
Merry Christmas to you all.
Well, of course, as I said in the previous break, that another group that has already come out and voiced their concern regarding the particular reforms council is the TDRI.
Yes.
And they had proposed 6-point solution just to bring the country out of the current political crisis here. What are the contents or is there some interesting information just to add?
Before we go to that, because last week I didn't get a chance to do the analysis.
Right.
I would say that the politics now has quite got more interesting every day, especially with the debate of the political reform, which is at this point I am very positive that everyone is for the reform. But the debate is that would it take place before or after the general election on February the 2nd? Many voiced their comments and concern that to vote before the election would just drag the country into the bad cycle of the so-called Thaksin regime. Which as well with the Democrat boycotting the election, it might be called as illegitimate one, which result to cancellation of the results, ruling party abolition and banning the executives of the party for 5 years, which would be very unfortunate for Palang Prachachon party executives who are now joining the Pheu Thai party and running as the party list as well as constituency candidates.
But that's one of the, I think, the risk that they probably would have to take it into consideration already before they jump on board.
Right, and I've heard that many authorities have just quit their jobs and positions and just to run into this particular election. However, for those proposing for the reform after the election, they see that to vote is to emphasize the democracy, that the rights for everyone is equal. To propose the election date or to propose the reform prior to the election is nothing but an insult to the people, especially the people in the rural area who are now called as uneducated and poor informed.
Yeah, that was kind of...
So these are the two conflicting ideas right now. Nonetheless, now we heard from the TDRI that or the Thailand Development Research Institute President Kun Somkiat Tangkitwanit, he reviewed the 6 points calling for pre-election reform that involves all parties. In his statement, he said that the reform should take place before the election, given that any government has never been fully committed to reforms. In his 6 points proposal, he said that there was no progress from the reform council set up by Kun Yingluck government. Meanwhile, the Abhisit government before also established 2 reform councils, but their suggestions have never been implemented. So he said all this convinces the public that any government in power does not voluntarily support the reforms. He also said that through the proposal reform, the anti-government People's Democratic Reform Committee or the PDRC may just want to create political vacuum given that several proposals cannot be completed quickly and outside parties are shunned from taking part. While both the government and the PDRC see the needs for the reform, they still differ if the reform should take place before or after the election. Therefore, he proposed 6 points, but I will just present just 3 here. First, he suggested 1/3 of the body members should be appointed by the government, 1/3 by the Democrat Party and the PDRC, and the rest by other social groups. Second, they should focus attention on 4 to 5 urgent issues which lead to the current political instability, including the check and balance, anti-graft measures, populist policy, and fiscal disciplines, as well as the judicial system. The third one is that a certain time frame must be in place and the body should closely monitor the progress. If the government shows any sign of reluctance, the body should be empowered to suggest the House dissolution. At the end, he ends with his final comment that the reform would succeed if having 3 key elements. First, the process that involve all parties. Second, the mechanism to ensure that the reform would be honored by all. And the last one is that all the mechanism that the government in power will materialize the reform. So very interesting comments from อาจารย์สมเกียรติตั้งกิจวานิช indeed.
I think this one is almost go in line with the same thing that the 7 organizations of the private
Yes.
sector proposed, the body. So it seems like at least we see the trend that looks similar to each other, that maybe it could be combined into one.
Right.
And then somehow we can pick and choose.
And the general public as well. A lot of people show support to the reform before election.
Yeah.
However, there's also another group that supports the election before.
So I think it's a matter of time and negotiation whether or not which direction Thailand is going or heading towards. We're probably going to hear more
Yeah.
in terms of, I think it's a daily updates at
Yes.
this point, whether or not the election will be on February 2nd or anything bad going to happen prior to that. So just keep your eyes on it. We're going to give you all the updates. However, today, that's all the time we have. And thank you, Wings Learning Circle, customized English course for your business as well. You can always log on to our Facebook page, facebook.com/morningthailand.
As well as the email. You can send email to morningthailandshow@gmail.com. That is all the time we have for now. Thanks for watching and Merry Christmas to you all. We'll see you again tomorrow at 6 a.m. on MCOT World. I'm Fai.
Call.
เช่น
สวัสดีค่ะ